All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Sorry for the shakiness walking around. Promise I'll sit down so that it doesn't move. But today, as you guys can tell from the title of the video, we are going to finally get around to changing the oil gallery gaskets. Actually, that may not be this video. That may be the next video. However, we're going to tear down the front of this car because I'm expecting the package to come in today from Z1. I'll try to leave the product numbers or the links in the description to show you guys what I ordered. I think in total I spent around 235 or 240, something like that, for all this stuff, which isn't bad, but it's a lot more than I would have liked to spend. But you gotta buy what you gotta buy. So I got the Miata out of the garage finally. Don't know if I updated you guys on that, but the rack we replaced the rack. But it's leaking again. I don't know what, that car just has the worst luck with racks. So we're just gonna do another remanufactured one, I guess, and then swap it out. So I have the Z here behind me. We have the Z in here. So yeah, last night, let me show you guys what I did from the front to the back. So the rear is currently a 245/45. The front is a 255/35 ZR18. So, I mean, yeah, it has like 2 finger widths of gap, but those ones were rubbing in the front, so I just swapped them and then swapped the spacers too. I think because of how thick the tire was, it was rubbing on this inside edge, and it sounded like death. So while I had the wheels off, I went ahead and removed all 3 of the bumper screws. There's one right there, which is obviously supposed to go through the hole, another one further in, and then one on the actual bracket itself, which goes in the bottom somewhere. So you would do that on both sides, then basically pop the hood, which I did not do, but my keys are right here, so yep, left it open. Yeah, this was a failed attempt at stopping the brake because the, what's it called? The wheel spacer, you guys can see it right back there, 30 millimeter, I think. I had to press the brake in order to get it off of the front, but I didn't have a second person, so I tried with the wheel, it didn't work. So then I just used a breaker bar to stop the hub, but that's besides the point. So we're gonna go ahead and come up front over here, grab the hood latch, rest the hood on my head, grab the, what's this thing called, hood prop. All right, so now for the bumper, just take out all these clips. Most people don't have them or they're broken, so I'll go ahead and remove those real quick, and then I'll show you guys everything you need to remove in order to remove this entire front end. Okay, so I got all the clips removed, so this should just pop right out. Obviously, oh wait, I have the underglow, or well, there's a light, there's an LED strip right here, so gotta unplug that, and then you guys should have an undershroud. Mine is sitting over there in the back somewhere, just because I don't want to button this back up until it's painted. So we're gonna grab this and put it over here to the side. All right, and then in a future video, I'm gonna replace the tint on those because it was done terribly, and you guys can see like all the edges and stuff folded over. Plus, I don't like the whole orange or yellow color to it. So we're gonna go definitely black. So, okay, out of breath, don't know why. Anyways, so for this, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna remove the 4 bolts that are in here. They should be 14s, 14, 17, or 19. I don't remember off the top of my head. To remove the crash beam. So you can go ahead and do that. And then the crash beam should just come right off of the, the crash beam should come right off of this piece right here. That wasn't blood. Okay, good. Also, I damaged my hand while replacing the rack. I dropped the rack, the centerpiece of the rack on my hand, so that was fun. That was almost 6 days ago now. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and start by removing that. I'm gonna time lapse it all for you guys, but I'm gonna explain it first. So you remove that, you pull off the crash beam. That's just for ease of getting into there. And then you can go ahead, while you're doing that, you can raise up the car a little bit and drop all of the fluid out of the radiator. I would recommend a large aluminum foil pan, just to grab it all, if you're gonna reuse it, and then put a cover over it because it's not good for pets and stuff. Then you can remove this overflow tank, you can remove the fan shroud, you can pull those straight out. I think you may have to remove the intake boxes on your HR if you have them. Most people go with aftermarket ones. I still have the stock ones because I live in California and I don't want to deal with that. Okay, So then like you unlock these, pull those out, and then I believe the radiator shroud is held in place by these two bolts. So then those two bolts come out, and there's a couple more bolts, I don't remember exactly where, but basically you unbolt those and this entire radiator shroud comes out. And then you can take out the condenser and move the condenser off to the side, which is nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Then remove the hoses and you should be set. So I'm gonna go ahead and set you guys up for a time lapse and we will go ahead and get started. All right, and just like that, we're back. So what I ended up doing was basically everything. Hence truck. This might be my package. I'll be right back. Just got the package from Z1. Won't expose my address, hopefully. Cool dude driving the tank truck for, what's it called? FedEx. He just ran out of water, so I hooked him up. But let's open this up, see what we got in here. Alrighty, so we got the oil or the water pump assembly, which is perfect. We got the card from everything from Z1. Anyways, and then we got O-rings for the timing cover, and more O-rings. All OEM, I believe. And then this is the timing cover seal kit. And the other gaskets made out of a metal. Those are solenoid gaskets. And we got our Allen bolts for the gallery gaskets, along with the gallery gaskets themselves, which I do not see. And then here are the gallery gaskets, which says are OEM Nissan, but no, these are solenoid gaskets still. Oh, here they are. They're stuck on the side. Didn't see them. So we got our gallery gaskets, which they're saying are OEM Nissan, like the paper ones. They say it's reinforced metal, I don't know, but that's what we got. And then the other one's probably sandwiched in there. All right, that's perfect. All right, so I found the other gallery gasket. My dad walked in, so I stopped recording, but it was just stuck on the side. So let me show you guys everything that I did in that 30-second time lapse you guys just watched, which was about half hour, something like that for me. So let me show you guys everything. All right, so basically we have the entire front torn down. We removed the crash bar, which is probably unnecessary, removed one of the horns, the power steering cooler, just unbolted it for now. It's just sitting there. Removed one of the intake buckets, removed the two screws that are behind the little plastic caps, these ones, that keep the condenser attached to the radiator. Remove that, drain the entire radiator. So basically it's still draining power steering fluid down there, as you guys can see. Hopefully don't get too much radiator fluid mixed in there, but it's inevitable. Weird cut again. All right. So then I went ahead and removed the lower radiator hose to help it drain. Don't forget to remove this cap before you unbolt the bottom of the radiator to drain it, otherwise it'll take forever. So make sure you take that off. It'll keep pressure in the system if you leave that on. And then I removed the upper radiator hose, made sure that I dropped all of the fluid down before picking it up. I took that one out, but then I put it back just so that the radiator stops draining radiator fluid and we're only dropping power what's it called? What's that thing called? Automatic transmission fluid. All right, so now I'm just gonna wait for that to drain for a little bit. I think it's just dripping from the hose now, so I can go ahead and remove the radiator. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I won't film it, but yeah, we also removed the intakes. Always put your bolts back where you got them, just so that you don't forget. Remove the caps for the radiator. They go right here. Basically, it's just twist to unlock. This one's cracked, so I have to hold it in place before I do it. I got a little hood prop in. Don't know where this pole came from, but it was godsend, because if we remove this entire shroud, this piece goes with it. So I mean, it's already loose. You guys can probably not see because my hand's shaking, but I removed the two bolts here, And then there's going to be 2 bolts down there. I don't know if we have to remove those. We'll find out in a minute. And then remove the 2 on this side. And then maybe have to remove the washer bottle thing as well. Most people don't have that on their Z anyways. And then I removed this front plastic piece, which most people don't have anyways. Make sure put the bolts back where they go. Move the MAF sensors out of the way. Remember to unplug the battery, because if you're doing anything where it involves electrical circuits, you want to make sure to do that. And when you're removing the radiator shroud, there's electrical connections there, so you don't want to get them wet. So the thing is, the condenser sits on top of the radiator in this car. It's not an incorporated one. So I struggled a little bit to get them off of each other. So there's this little pin that goes and sits inside of the radiator. So I just took a flathead screwdriver right there, and then I went ahead and pried it up. So we're making good progress. I will continue, probably won't record it, but I'll show you guys what I end up pulling off to get this radiator support out. All right, and just like that, we are back. So what I ended up doing was I was able to remove this, but the power steering cooler just got in the way. I was able to take it out. Like, it took brute force to take that out. That's all the fluid, which looks burnt, even though I just changed it. Yeah, they have metal lines, so it's a pain. So what you want to do is you probably just want to pull out the radiator support and just pull it out to the side, and then get the condenser up and out of the way. Excuse me. Get the condenser up and out of the way. Like these snap rings, snap it in place so it lets it rotate back and forth. So you just take out the 1 bolt that goes there that keeps it in place, and you should be set to go ahead and just turn it over to the side. So now what we need to do is remove the belt. So if you want to, you can take a picture of it, or here it is for you if you really care, get a better angle. That's how the belt goes. So you just want to get a 1/2-inch socket, probably a breaker bar, and you just want to turn the tensioner out of the way, and then the belt will come loose. So luckily on this car it's only 1 belt versus the DE, which has 2 belts. And then we can go ahead and start removing brackets. So I will probably set you guys up for another time lapse now. Hopefully this won't be in the way, but I'll probably set you guys up like over here somewhere. Also, a quick tip. I don't know if you guys can hear me because it's kind of windy, but just take one of the bolts that come out of like the top of the radiator support right here, or something that came off of the, one of the bolts that came out of here from the bash bar, or I forgot what it's called, but you guys get the point. Just shove one in there and then put a hose clamp on it and crank it down so that it doesn't drip like that one did right here. And then basically I just took both of the pans that I have with power steerings right there, and then radiator fluids right there, and I just put the intake box on top of it so that the wind doesn't cause it to fly away, but not enough weight to crush the aluminum tray. So anyways, back to the time lapse. Okay, so like 2 hours later, finally got the crank bolt out, sitting right there. It wouldn't come off with any of the impact wrenches I have, even the Goodyear one. It leaked out oil, but I grabbed a bucket for it. That was the biggest pain of my existence. So what I did was luckily I had an extra serpentine belt. Man, it said somewhere on here what it's for, but I took an extra serpentine belt. It's for a 2007 Toyota Corolla, I think. It was sitting brand new. I snapped one of the old ones that I had. As you can see, I have the one that I was using right there, but I just took this one. I wrapped it around right here, and then I wrapped the belt around again, and then stopped it on the pulley, and that was enough to keep it in place. And then I was able to undo it with a breaker bar. Okay, I think we can go back to a time lapse of just removing all the accessories now. Hopefully this pulley is not jammed on there. I have a pulley puller, I believe, but we will see. All right, and we are back for day 2 of working on this. Sorry if there's a lack of energy. I'm completely exhausted. So let me show you guys what I have done. All right, so we have everything removed that you can think of. I took out the rest of the intakes. I took out the strut bar. What else? Every single bolt from the front of the timing cover. Whoops. And from the top of the timing cover, literally everything. The front to the camshaft, what are those called? Covers, tensioner bracket. Move that back out into the way because I had to remove the upper manifold to remove that water neck, which I could have just pulled out, but it'll make it easier for reinstallation if I can see where it's going. Then we have the lower manifold. What else? Basically the entire block is stripped down. The idler pulley, that was a pain to get out. I think I showed you guys. I used an old belt to remove it. And yeah, so I just have this AC compressor left. Apparently there's a bolt in the back that I did not see, which is holding it in place. So every time I try to pry it, it starts losing Freon. You can hear it and smell it. So I need to figure out where that bolt is, and then I should be able to just pull it to the side and then heat up the outside of the timing cover and peel it off because it has all of this old gasket maker on it. So I'm trying to peel that off as soon as possible. I won't give you guys a time lapse of that because it's just boring, tedious work. However, once we have the timing cover off, I'll pick it back up. Okay, so sorry about the wind if there is any, but a couple of hours later, we're back. Broke this piece out of my original timing cover sitting right there. I missed that bolt because it was covered in dirt. So I got a new one. Shout out to Unique Motorsports at Georgie over there. I'll leave his Insta down here somewhere if I remember. But dude hooked me up. I think it was like 80 bucks for the whole thing. So dude really hooked it up, and now I don't have to bother cleaning it because it's already clean. Just have to see where all the gasket maker goes because on the inside of these, there's a lot of gasket maker. But now that we have this completely disassembled, hopefully it didn't break anything. But yeah, I mean, that's where the bolt was stuck, or that's where the bolt was. So you have to put gasket maker there along with around there and then up here as well around this rectangle. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of the gasket material and then brake clean everything and then wipe it down. Same thing with all of these engine components because you can see there's like little specks and stuff on them, so I want to keep it clean. But as you guys can see right here, I saw it through the cover when I removed the tensioner, like the tensioner cover. Yeah, that's the oil gallery gasket. Mine completely blew out. That's just the top one though, so the bottom one seems to be, oh no, the bottom one's lifting right there. But in order to remove this, it's pretty simple. Just take a pin, shove it in there, probably like a push pin. Just shove it in there and then remove the tensioner, which is two 10 mil bolts. Just pull it out. It'll drop the rod all the way down, and then it'll give the what's it called, the chain enough slack to just move off to the side, and then this will slide down, chain will come down, you can unbolt it really easily, and then swap out the gaskets and put it back together. There's some more of it. Hopefully none of this got in the engine, but I'm just gonna take everything apart, and then actually we're gonna set this to top dead center first. So basically just move these until they're aligned with the what's it called, with the marks on the teeth. So there's a circle one right there, along with one on the crank pulley. So I'm just gonna line those up and then do it basically. And then this fell out. I don't know what this is. I gotta figure that out. I was gonna ask George while I was over there, but I totally forgot. So I'm just gonna set that there for now. It probably goes somewhere up here and it fell out. But I'm gonna get to it, line everything up, and I will get back to you guys. All right, guys, so we're back for day 3 of doing this. Yesterday was just an utter disaster. So let's see, after I was able to pull off the timing cover, I took off the gallery gasket, like the housing, and one of the screws almost stripped, so I had to remove the cam gear. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to touch timing. I didn't want to have to deal with any of that. But unfortunately, I screwed it up. So let me tiptoe around all the mess, and let me show you guys what we have going for now. All right, so it's super windy outside, so the garage is going to stay closed for today. But just get these towels out of here and show you guys what we're working with. So I replaced the gallery gaskets. I removed all of the old material. and I just installed the new ones and then put in new O-rings. So here comes the issue. I was able to I pulled off both of the valve covers, and you guys can't see that one, but you guys can see this one. Pulled off both the valve covers. It keeps jumping timing, so what I need to do is I need to put the timing chain back on, which is around here somewhere. Just throw that back on and then go ahead and re-clock the camshafts so that they're facing each other. So these lobes, the closest ones need to be facing each other. So this one should be like this and the other one should be facing like that. And then I can continue. However, there's also a caveat to that. You also have to be at top dead center, which I thought I did, but evidently I didn't. So that's why the cams are facing the wrong way. So basically just pull out the spark plug in cylinder 1 and then in cylinder 5. Put a flashlight down there, or just look with the flashlight and see when the cylinder is at the top to make sure it's at the compression stroke. So cylinders 1 and 5 should be on the top of the, what's it called? Top of the block, basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'll pick it up once I have made some progress. Okay, I'm gonna try to talk over the music in the background, but I was able to turn the crank so that the lobes on the 1st through 5th cylinders are facing inward. However, it's getting stuck because of the tension on the cams, so it's not going past a certain degree. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pull off these 2 cam gears, because these 2 are still incorrect. This one's lined up, but the other one's not. So I believe this is the intake one. The intake one's lined up, the exhaust one is not. So I might have to spin that one by hand with a wrench and hope that it lines up. So I'm gonna pull off the timing chain again and then pull out the spark plug sockets, or pull spark plugs out of sockets and then check where the cylinders are. All right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna try to talk really loudly so that the music doesn't get copyrighted. I hope it's not too loud. However, I have found top dead center. We are lined up here, lined up there. Oh, excuse me, I haven't eaten all day. And then down here, that's also set correctly. However, I can't check these sprockets. However, they look like they're lined up. I don't know why on this side it has the ovals when I literally set them to the circles. So I think it's just opposite on the other end. So yeah, we can continue and set this, or put the entire thing back together now. This was a complete pain. However, if you guys really want to know, the way I did it was I had to manipulate these camshafts so that they were lined up like this, or at least almost like that. They're a little bit off because I left it halfway through, but I had to manipulate them so that these would go on straight, and then the lobe, or the orange tabs would line up with the circles and vice versa. So that was pretty much that. I'm gonna go ahead and slap this back together, and then I'll get you guys back to you guys when we start up. Okay, so my dumbass timed it backwards, and I used the wrong shape. I used oval on this side, and I used circle on this side, so that completely screwed everything up. So now I have to redo it, but it's gonna be pretty easy now that I know how to do it. So I'm gonna do it, and put it back together, and then show you guys first startup. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm like 99.99% sure that I did the timing right this time. And then if we can get in here, we got ovals. And then if we come over here, we got circles to prove it. There are the ovals. And then on this one, it's circles on both, and the same for this one, but it won't go in unless it's, they're both oriented the same way. So on this one, same thing. Circles are right down there. You guys can see them. All right, and then the crank's lined up too. It's got the little mark and then that, and then the crank is lined up at top dead center right there. So, all right, and then, I mean, if I really want to be sure, you can see inside the cylinder. You guys may not be able to see it, but I can see it. You can see the top of cylinder 1. You guys can't see it because it won't focus, but cylinder 1's down there. So. Again, going back to wrapping it up. All right, so we're back for day, yikes, I think this is like day 7 or day 8 or something like that. So I'm gonna close the garage in a second, but I didn't get too far. I got tired after I got the alternator on. I put the front cover on and everything, but I was just way too tired. So I'm gonna crank it out and then hopefully put everything together except the radiator, condenser, and power steering cooler, and start it up, make sure that it's not, make sure I did timing right, hopefully, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So I'll pick it up in about an hour, hour and a half when I get that done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the, what is this, the 8th day of working on this car. So yesterday, I don't think I recorded anything, but I did put together basically everything except the rest of the front end. I left the condenser, the radiator, the fans, like all that. I didn't put it back on. So what I'm hoping to do is crank the car, see if I get oil pressure. I need to actually put the oil back in the car, but then I need to crank it, see if I get oil pressure, see if there are any leaks. Unfortunately, I didn't show you guys this, but this, what's it called? This bracket got wedged between the front timing chain cover and the rear. So I had to remove it and then re-gasket the entire, I just did the entire top end because I couldn't be asked to pull the entire thing apart and do it again. So hopefully that stays. And then I did the lower oil pan last night. It's solidified. It's been almost, yikes, I don't know. It's been almost 24 hours. So I got all the bolts back on, got everything on the top end back on, except for that one. What I need to do is I need to remove that crankcase, the valve cover relief, forgot what it's called, and then I need to twist the, what are these called? The intake tubes, twist them up because I have this bar in the way and the hood support is right here. Popped out of place, but basically I need to do that and then just get the condenser and swing it over here, make sure everything's out of the way of the belt. I thought I did the belt wrong like 8 times, but yeah, this one's the ribbed one, the tensioner, and then this one's the flat one. I don't think I showed you guys that. Put the new gaskets on. Choked. All right. Put the new gaskets on the cam phasers and then plugged everything back in. I lost an injector clip. It fell underneath the intake runner, or the lower intake manifold, I think is what it's called. So I grabbed that. It was like the 5th or 6th injector. I don't know. It was one of the last ones on that side. Bolted everything back up, dropped a couple bolts here and there, but I was able to use almost everything. I think I accidentally used the 4 bolts from the front end of the car on the fuel rail. So I have these 4 left over, but these were supposed to go on the fuel rail, but I accidentally used the 4 that were sitting over here instead of using, or sorry, over here, instead of using the 4 that were over there that were for the fuel rail. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get everything set up, grab the oil out of this pan. It leaked out everywhere, I think because I accidentally stepped on this pan. So I think it got a hole or something. So I need to find a container to put it in, and then we can drop some oil in this and see if it leaks. I will pick it up once I have all that done. All right, you guys can probably barely hear me, but it's now the moment of truth. So got the keys right here, got everything off of the car except for this. So I cleaned everything up. Just need to put the negative terminal on the battery. As you guys can see, it's just by itself. Filled it with oil. It was low. I only ended up collecting about 3.5 because it all leaked out. I did put some extra oil in it, and I do have every intention of filling it with new oil, just not yet. So we're gonna get this battery terminal on, and I'm not gonna bolt it down because I think that's pretty pointless, because I'm probably gonna have to take it off when I put the front end back on. So gonna hop back over here, and yeah, no leaks, luckily, just all the mess from before. So gonna hop over here, grab the keys. Door's locked, of course. Or is it? Nope. Just Z door handles. Still haven't moved that. Left the car in gear. Forgot about that. I chalked off the other side though, so don't worry. I was being safe about it. Okay, so I'm gonna put the key in. If I hear the fuel pump, that means the kill switch is on. Or sorry, off. So that means I'll have to flip the switch, but... All right, heart's pumping. Okay, everything looks good. So I'm gonna prime it a couple times and see what happens. Fingers crossed. Definitely sounds like it's running okay. I'm gonna prime it again. give it a few seconds to cool down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, didn't prime. Sounds like there's a cylinder misfire, but I won't know until I start it. So we're gonna come back here, check for leaks. Hopefully there aren't any. Coming over here, probably should have cleaned that up beforehand, but everything looks good. Hopefully the timing isn't off. No leaks, all right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab an OBD2 scanner. We're gonna hop in the car. I probably cut out the last 30 seconds or so, but I found that OBD2, I found the OBD2 scanner. So we're gonna plug it right on in over here. Forgot which way it goes. Bigger end to the side of the car. Alrighty. And we put the key in the on position so we can actually read codes. And new battery's holding up. You guys can probably barely see that, but it's over 12 volts. All right, moment of truth. If there's a timing code, then I can't start it. But if there isn't, which hopefully it isn't, then we will be chilling. Sorry if I'm breathing hard. I exercised a couple of hours ago, and I guess I'm still tired. I haven't eaten anything, so. Okay, no DTC, no codes, that's perfect. And then obviously the IM, it's not gonna do anything because the, what's it called? The car hasn't been running for over 50 miles or something like that. So we're chilling. Let's do a rescan just to be sure, because I did turn on the car after the fact, so. Okay, we're chilling. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video here, and then I'm gonna record it for Snapchat, and then I'll probably just insert the clip here. If you guys don't follow me on Snapchat, it's probably down here somewhere. So we're gonna get it started right now. So I didn't realize this, but I didn't pinch the lines for the power steering cooler, so there's power steering fluid everywhere, which is, I mean, it's an easy cleanup, but luckily there's only 1 drop of oil, but I don't know where it's dripping from, so I'm gonna have to further investigate and figure out where that's coming from. Or wait, that might be power steering because that's where the line is, or sorry, transmission fluid. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. So if you guys found the video helpful, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe. I try to post content every Friday around midday, so 12 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm gonna wrap this up, hopefully get it back together, fix all the issues like the power steering and whatever the oil is draining from. And I will catch you guys in the next video.